All right, are we ready to go? It is now 1 o'clock. Okay. Welcome, everybody. I'm Steve Serra, and today's webinar, we're going to look at our new Community Link portal, our homeowner portal. It's something that we've been working on for the last, I don't know, several months, maybe since like last summer. And it's something that I'm real excited to show you. I think it looks really good, and I hope you feel the same way. I know your time is valuable, so let's go ahead and get started. All right. Put together a little slideshow so I can figure out how to do the next slide here. There we go. All right, so what I wanted to do today is just kind of do these three things. So I wanted to start with just a quick walkthrough of the portal, kind of showing you what's new, what's different, and kind of compare and contrast like the old portal to the new portal. Kind of show you that, and then we'll talk a little bit about what the migration approach is, like how we're going to migrate people from the old portal to the new portal, and then at the end just open it up for questions. So that's my plan for this webinar. So let's go ahead and get going. So I'm going to stop this. Okay, so here we are at the old portal. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with this. This is our just a sample community portal, just the login screen. So this is the old version. Now let's take a look at what the new version looks like. I'm going to click on this. So here's our new portal. So it's the same type of page. It's just the new look. So one of the things that we wanted to do when we rewrote the portal, we wanted to make sure that it was modern looking, because we got feedback from some of our clients that the portal that we currently had, although it was functionally rich, it was maybe not as pretty as it could be. So that was one of the things that we wanted to do with this new portal, is make it look pretty, make it look beautiful, and make it look beautiful across all devices, whether you're looking at the portal from a big browser screen like I am here, or whether you're looking at the portal from iPhone, let's say. So with that, our focus was, let's make it look pretty, but we know change is hard for anybody. So we wanted to keep the same familiarity with the portal. So when an owner comes to this page, it's going to look pretty familiar to them. So we shouldn't really need to do too much training on this one. But for on your side, what we can do here is, like, we still have this left-hand login form. This right side, we're showing a nice pretty image. This is configurable. By default, we've got, I don't know, 7 to 10 stock images you guys can pick from. Or if you want, you can also upload your own. So that's something that's new. Like, we've added more configuration options to the portal. And yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and log in as our board member, Brad Pike, into Diamond Bay. So here we are, we're logging in as Brad Pike, and we should get our new portal. So here we go. So this is the new look of the portal. As you can see, we've kept a number of the same design elements that we had from the previous portal. For example, we're still showing the blocks, like account info, community news, documents. But what we've done is we've made them look prettier. So it looks more modern. I mentioned before how we want everything to look beautiful regardless of the device. And that's kind of what we're doing over here on our community news section. Whereas in the current portal, when you added a content, you added an announcement, let's say for the Memorial Day picnic, and you potentially put a really big picture out there, and you tried to look at that on a small screen, it kind of broke the screen, made it look not very nice. So what we've done instead is we've kind of standardized this look. So we kind of modeled it based on Facebook and or Instagram. So most people are familiar with that interface. They're familiar with, hey, we've got a picture, we've got a title, we've got a description, and then they can scroll through them. So that's one change, which I think will make the portal look better and more intuitive for people. So they can not only look at the title, but they can also jog their memory with that picture that's associated with it. And we'll look at it in a little bit about how easy it is to add an announcement. Okay. Our account info section, again, looks very similar to what we had before. The difference is it's laid out just a little bit differently. So we still have what their balance is. We can still make payments. We can still see their account details. It just looks different. This section here is new, this upcoming charges. So what we were hearing from folks is owners would call in with they didn't know what they're going to owe, let's see, on June 1st. So now we're able to show what their balance is going to be or what additional charges are going to be added to their ledger in the next X number of days. And that X is a parameter that you can specify. So within UManage, you can specify 20 days, and the system will look ahead 20 days to see what charges are coming up. Hopefully that's going to cut down on calls into your support group. Okay. We're still showing master and subs here. What's missing from this, from the old site, is if you remember, and I can kind of show it here, if I go into the old site, those navigation tiles. So on the home page, we have these little tiles that you could hover over and people could go into their art plans or their custom letters or whatnot. So we've actually removed those, and since they're navigation items, we move them into the menu. So slight change, but I think it works better because now they can get to that content from this menu. So navigation items belong in the menu. They really don't belong on the home page. So now wherever the owner is, they can always quickly get to any of these items. Okay. So that's a small little change that we did for them. Another little change that you kind of notice is we moved the person's name, the My Profile, from that used to be in the top right corner. It's now down here in the bottom left corner. So it's kind of, we're taking some cues from modern web design principles, and we just decided to move it down here. You can always still click on this. The person can, Brad Pike can, and they can do what they need to do here and save it and come back. Okay. Some other items that are staying is this, if you do own multiple properties, we still have this drop-down menu here that shows I own a property in Diamond Bay, I own a property in Wisteria Gardens. So we still have that. Within Diamond Bay, it shows I own 2 properties. So I see that, so I can still toggle between the 2. So that didn't change. It just, again, it just looks a little bit different. Okay. A couple of the functional areas that we changed, like the features, we kind of touched a little bit on community news, but in terms of how we add content, it's essentially staying the same. What I mean by that, if I go out to community news and we now try to add an announcement. So first of all, here's the new list page. So instead of just showing announcements as a list in the old portal, we're now showing them as tiles. And it has some nice little hover effects. And you can toggle either showing them as a grid or showing them as a list. So we're showing that as tiles or cards. So it's just a nicer look to the portal. I was going to talk about adding, but before we go there, filters. Another thing that we did, which I think is a huge productivity improvement, is in the old portal on a particular page, we had filtering, so people could filter for different things, but it was hidden. If you recall, there was a little blue button that was over on the right, and they couldn't really see what they were filtering for, and that would generate questions. So now every single list page we're showing the filters up top, so they're always visible. So to add a filter, you would simply click the Add Filters, and then you can show anything that has, I don't know, picnic in it, but not with an I, with a P, picnic, and then apply it. And now we're showing the filters right here. So again, it's really easy to see what information that page is displaying. Okay. Adding that announcement, very similar to how it was before, with just the slight differences. Now we need to capture a picture and a short little description. So what we've done there is, so when we click add, here's the add form. This should look really familiar, really similar to what you have today. You can simply just add a title, whatever that announcement is, let's say it's a Christmas party. I know it's not Christmas time, but we'll do a Christmas party anyway. Christmas party. Join us for the Christmas party. Party at the clubhouse. So normally, typically, this section here is going to have a lot more information in it, more than would fit comfortably on the home page. And also, we're showing this preview image. Right now, there's no image associated with it. So what we've done is you can generate this image using AI, and it's going to look at your content, and it's going to generate some sort of an image that matches the Christmas party. So we'll see what it does. So if I generate that image, I should now have a pretty picture. If you like that picture, you can use it. If you don't like that picture, you can always hover over it and just upload a new picture. So that's just your little preview picture. The same concept works for the short description. So we're, instead of taking this really long description of this Christmas party, we can generate a short, concise description of it, again, just using AI, and now there we have it. So now it's going to show this picture, it's going to show that little short description. So whether you're looking at it again on a large screen on a browser, or you're looking at it on the mobile app, it'll always look good. You just kind of scroll and tap into it. These other items, all that stayed, again, it just looks better. So I can still display it on the dashboard. I can set the priority. I can make it a must view. So all those capabilities are there. I can still expire it. So all that's there. It really just changed this capability because, again, we wanted to always make it look good. Okay. The other piece I wanted to show you is documents, because that was another area that we were getting feedback on from some folks saying that the document piece, and if I just go over to our old documents here to show you what it looks like. So on the old site, current site, it's really not old, it's the current site, you could navigate through this folder tree here, and that was the only way to navigate. So you'd have to go into here, and you'd have to go into there, and then finally you can click on something to see a document, and they would show over here. So with the new portal, what we've done is we've taken the design queue from Microsoft Windows Explorer. So now what we're showing is, when I go to documents, we're showing the folder tree right here. So I can click on a folder, or I can click on a file to open it. So I can navigate by either clicking on a folder, in which case now it opens up the folder tree on the left, and I can navigate this way, by going into budgets, for example, or I can navigate here by going into budgets, or I can navigate from our little breadcrumb up at the top here. So you can navigate different ways, but the content, the documents are in this pane. And again, it just looks prettier. So hopefully this should alleviate questions or confusion from owners trying to navigate through the document tree. The next thing I wanted to show you, again, like we could spend a ton of time on each of these, but I'm trying to give you just a broad, high-level overview of what we've done. The next one is reservations. So we spent a lot of time on reservations, and with this, kind of backing up a little bit, one of the other items that we wanted to accomplish with the portal is to merge them more, the portal with UManage. So in today's world, reservations live on the portal. You can't see them or approve them or do notifications for them from UManage. You have to go to the portal to manage everything. Well, with this new portal, we're merging the portal and UManage together. So we're gonna start to see more information that's going to be managed from within UManage. So UManage truly will be your hub for both internal operations, financial, and also managing portal content. Okay. So reservations is an area that we put a lot of time into. Again, it functions similar to how it did before. It just looks a lot prettier. So you can still look at it from different modes, daily, weekly, and monthly. Over here, you can select what you're trying to reserve. So if I want to reserve a tennis court, let's say, I want to look at availability for all 3 courts. So I've got availability there. To quickly put in a reservation, all you need to do is, we modeled this one after Google Calendar, how that works. So if you just drag a time slot, it'll open up an ad form. You can say, I'm going to do a lesson with Bill. And you can just save that reservation if I put it in after the right amount of time. So we've made it so it's the interface is more familiar. If you recall, on the old interface, you had to highlight a section of it. You then had to right click into it, and it just wasn't very good. But in terms of the integration with UManage, it probably comes more into play with conference rooms or party areas. So I mentioned before about notifications. So now what we can do is based on the facility, like a clubhouse. So when you reserve a clubhouse, you may have a different set of rules and regulations and specifications that they need to adhere to. Well, now you can do that. So when they reserve the large conference room, the notification that goes out to them can have that list of requirements. Hey, you can't get there before 9 a.m. and you have to leave by 6, and you got to fill this out. And so whatever that extra information you want to share about that large conference room, you can, and it can be different from the pavilion. So you can get customized messages, customized notifications by both facility and also by the resource that you're reserving. So a piece that's not there yet, but is coming in our next release is the ability to make payments on reservations. I know that's something that a lot of folks have been asking for, and I promise it'll be there in this next release. Not the one that's happening tonight, not enough time there, but the release after that, we should be able to have the ability to take payments for reservations, both for fees and also for deposits. And those will support both credit card and also being able to put those on account as well. So that's coming. So the work that we've done with this portal, kind of backing up again a bit, is when we initially started this project way back when in last summer, it was going to be a smaller effort. We were going to take our current portal and essentially just reskin it. So when we started that, our dev guys took a look at it, and when we said, you know what, this is a good opportunity to let's re-engineer it, redesign it, rebuild it from the ground up using all the latest and greatest technologies. So that's what we did. So we took advantage of that time, and that allowed us to not only use all the latest and greatest tools, we were able to improve security, improve performance, and also improve the merging of it together. So we've integrated reservations so far with UManage. So anyway, took us a little bit longer, but I think it was worth the wait. Okay, that's reservations. The next thing I want to kind of talk about is the board portal. We'll kind of look at that now because Brad Pike happens to be an owner, but also a board member. So now to go to the board portal, you can simply open up the board so the board menu, and then click on the dashboard. So we've kept a number of the design elements from the current dashboard, and we've transferred them over to this new dashboard. So again, if we look at the old dashboard, what that looked like, we had these to-dos up at the top. We had quick navigation right in the middle. So to-dos up at the top. We had this navigation tiles here in the middle. We had a message that was down here in the bottom that you could put out there. And then we had a couple of metrics, just a couple of KPIs up there. And this is kind of what it looked like. So we've taken some of those design concepts and we put it over here. So this is what the new board portal dashboard looks like. So we've kept this concept of the to-dos. And again, this is what the board member needs to do. It's their task. So it's something that they have to respond to. So they can click on one of these to take care of that action, just like they could today. The board message is out there as well. And this is something that you can also manage now from UManage, where before you had to go out to the portal to put that message on there. And then these KPIs down here, we're showing a lot more KPIs, a lot more information. So for example, we're showing operating cash. And what we're doing is we're comparing total operating cash to how many months of expenses will that cover. And we've got some right now just predefined thresholds for what that means in terms of, is it healthy? Is it something we need to watch? Or is it something that's red, which means we need to take action on it? So right now we're saying that if we have at least 2 months of expenses, everything's covered by cash, everything will be great and will be healthy. So in this case, we're only showing a little over 1, so that's why it's a watch. Okay, so we have those similar types of things of thresholds for each of these KPI metrics. So right now those are all just coded by us. So we're working on the ability for you guys to be able to set your own thresholds. So maybe instead of 2 months, you want it to be 3 months for an association. So that piece is coming. It's just not there now. Right now it's 2 months. We're using our metrics. Okay. We're also just showing some nice financial information, some assessment collections, what's paid, what's late, and so on. If we have reserve funds tracking set up in UManage, that's in UManage under the association, set up as accounting association. We'll show that here, and then we're showing some aging. So just wanted to show a nicer dashboard. So this looks nicer, more intuitive for your boards. But again, similar information is being presented, just looks prettier. All the items here on the left should be familiar, should be the same. A board member can still go in and approve invoices, review invoices. We still have these same filters up top. It's going to default to my invoices to approve. You can still click on one, still see everything, and then they can approve that invoice. I think one of the changes here that we did is we moved these buttons. They used to be over here. We just moved them into the approval section. Seemed like a more logical place for them to be. But similar functionality, we just made them look prettier. I don't know if we have any bank accounts yet. I never integrated, but we just made them look a little bit nicer. Okay. So yeah, so that's the board portal of how that looks. So now what I wanted to do is just take a couple of minutes and talk about a couple of other improvements that we made. And these are more going to be in UManage. So one of the areas was permissions. So on the current portal, when you logged in, you're either a homeowner or you're a board member or an ARC member or a tenant. And you didn't really have any ability to determine what they could see or what they could do. So whether a owner could add content, add an announcement, for example, or whether they could view the documents page or view the e-blast page. You didn't have that granularity based on that type of person or the role that they were in. Well, now we do with the new portal. So we totally revamped how the permissioning structure works for the portal, and those are all managed within UManage. So if we take a quick peek of how that is, I'm going to log into UManage. There we go. So within UManage now, we still have our portal link, community link, but now we have these other portal sections down here. So what I'm talking about now are our portal permissions. So what we're able to do is say, for example, for owners, what can owners do? So we're able to set permissions up at the firm level globally. We can say owners are able to see all of these things. They can see announcements, classifieds, documents, all that, but they can't add, edit, or delete. They can't do any of this. So you're able to set this up by role. So, and these are by contact types. So for each of your contacts in UManage, that is what's going to determine what they can see on the portal. And you have complete control over that. So you can look at owners, you can look at developers, third-party people, and tenants, and see what they can see. So it's a lot more flexibility. So what this is saying for that account info block, developers can see it, no one else can. For announcements, we've got everybody can see, and for some reason tenants can add it and delete. So we probably don't want that. So it would be something like that. So you can set up permissions now by profile. So it's a lot more flexible. but it's also a little more complex. So the good news is, as part of the migration effort that we're going through, when we migrate your old portal into the new portal, all of the permissions should match what you have today. So there shouldn't be anything that you need to do in terms of roles and permissions to keep the same level of functionality. We're trying to make it super simple, super seamless for you to do this, to migrate from the old portal to the new portal. You only really need to come into here if you wanted to start changing the permissions. So in the old portal, you didn't have a way to do that, but now you do. Okay. So yeah, so just know you can set up permissions now at the role level, and you can also override them at the association level. So you have a firm level and also an association level. So a couple different levels. So once you get into the portal, start using it. If you have questions on it, our support team is there to help you. Yeah, they can help walk you through. So that was just one of the big changes that we did, and that's one of the reasons why we rewrote the entire portal, so we can support more granular permissions. Another big change that we did is, I kind of talked before a little bit about it, how we've kind of merged the data together. We followed that through with your users' access. So in today's world, if you're a manager and you have a portfolio, you would log into UManage and you would maybe see your 15 properties. Well, to access those 15 properties in UManage, you had to create a master login that associated those 15 properties with that admin account. So then you'd have two separate logins. You'd have one for UManage and then one for the portal. So we've gotten rid of that, and now all firm user permissions are managed by their UManage permissions. So in that manager example, if you have access to those 15 associations, you'll have access to those 15 associations in the portal. So you no longer need to set up that master account. It's whatever your UManage permissions are is what follows through. So how that looks is when you go to the Manage Association page, you're now going to see this Go To Site link. We got a Go To Site link. So this is where all the ones that are blue are the associations that I have access to within UManage. So now I can find one. I can go to Diamond Bay. First, let me log out of Diamond Bay. So I'm logged out of Diamond Bay as Brad Pike. So now I want to go to Diamond Bay as a manager. So I would find Diamond Bay. And this should make it a lot simpler for your folks to access the portals. So now I can just click Go To Site, and now I'm going to go to Diamond Bay as a quote manager of it. So now I'm in the manager view. So what I can do here now is I can add content, I can customize the home page, I can go look to see what the portal looks like for a particular homeowner. So here I can search for Brad Pike, and there I see Brad Pike. Notice we've added 2 lines here, so you see the address and you also see their name. You can also just hover over it. If it's longer, you'll see the little tooltip. So again, easier to find individual people. But now when I click on Brad Pike, I'm now viewing Brad Pike's portal through Brad Pike's eyes, still as the manager. So it's really easy now for you to go in and see what a homeowner is seeing. You no longer have to go to the Find Logins page, go find them and do it that way. If you're in the portal, you can always, once you're in the manager view, you can always search for that particular contact. Okay. So yeah, so it should streamline how you access it. Similarly, when you're on here, if you log in, you can log in using your UManage login. So if you're on the homeowner portal, where I logged in as Brad Pike, you can also log in using your UManage credentials. So the same way. So again, you don't need to have that master login anymore. But all of those master relationships are going to ripple through. So not for your firm users, because they don't need it anymore, but for all of your owners. So if an owner owns 6 properties, they'll still have access to all 6 properties from here, just like they used to. Okay. So again, it should be easier to access your portals. All right, well, that's kind of what I wanted to show you at a high level. Again, there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more things you can do. Real quick, if I click on the calendar looks more like a Google Calendar, just making it, again, everything should be more friendly, should be more beautiful. That's kind of the overarching goal. Okay. So that's what I wanted to show you here. Now I want to just take a couple of minutes to talk about, I go back to this thing, go back to the next page, migration and cutover. So what that means. So right now we're doing a release tonight. So our plan is the UManage release. With the new portal, we have changes that are both on the portal, because the whole portal is new, and also changes that are in UManage, like the permissions and that sort of thing. So tonight, all the UManage components are going in. On Friday, the 22nd, is when the portal pieces are going in. We want to just have a period of time where we're not putting too many things in. So we're focusing right now on the UManage release going in tonight. Tomorrow morning, you're going to see all the latest and greatest new changes in UManage. Next week, next Friday is when we're going to put all the portal changes in. So what that means is we're going to spend a week or so, maybe 1 to 2 weeks, doing a soft launch for a few firms. So we have our own internal testing that we're doing, but we're also going to have a couple of firms that are willing to be the phase 1 firm and just give some real world user testing. We anticipate that's going to be maybe a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, something like that for that phase 1. And then we'll start bringing on additional firms. So after this phase 1, we should have all the tiny little things worked out. And then phase 2 and phase 3 should be smoother. So we're kind of giving you guys the option as to which phase you want to go in. Do you want to go into phase 2, which would be probably a week or 2 after the 22nd, or do you want to go maybe a week or 2 after that? So what that does, it gives you time to communicate with your boards, communicate with your owners, communicate with your internal staff of the new changes that are coming. Okay, so that's kind of the timing of how we're going to migrate people. It's really a cutover, because after phase 3, everybody is going to be migrated over. So the old portal, the current portal, is going to go away at that point. It'll no longer be accessible. You'll still have access to the old portal on QA. So right here, you'll still be able to access it on our QA box, but in production, it'll only be the live one. Okay. Before I talked about what items you need to do as part of this conversion, and the goal was to have it be as little impact to you guys as possible. But there are a couple of things that will need to change. The portal login HTML is one. Let me kind of go back. So what I mean by that is when you're in here and on your public website under Manage Firm, we have this portal login form HTML. We have this. So that needs to slightly change, just a little tiny bit. What I mean by that is, I apologize for a second for having to show you some HTML, but it'll just be quick. So if we look at this, we notice that it's abc.unified.net. The only change that we need to do is change this .net to .com. So you can give that to your webmaster. They would change that to .com, that to .com, that to .com, and then that's all you have to do. Okay, so it should be a really small, really minor change. But what that's going to do, it's when owners log in, it's going to redirect them to our new login page, which will direct them to the new portal. Okay, so that's one change that you have to do, and we'll communicate this as well. We'll have some other instructions when we send out communications about when we're going to migrate you. So let me go back to this thing. There we go. The portal URL does not change. So when I first logged in, it was Diamond Bay HOA and production.unify.net. That same one will work. We're going to have a process that will just redirect them to the new site. It'll be diamondbayhoa.eunify.com. So you don't need to do any of those changes. All of your owners' bookmarks should still work. So it should be a really seamless, hopefully seamless experience for your owners and boards. Okay. One change they will have to do is community link. So with our changes that we've done, like I said, we totally rewrote it, all new data structures, everything's completely new. That required us to have a whole new mobile app. So we've also done that. So we have a whole new community link app that is geared towards the new portal. So the old community link app, once you migrate, will no longer be usable. Technically it will, but the data that's there is all going to be stale. So it's going to be old data. You won't be able to add new information there. So you want to transition your owners to the Community Link Pro mobile app. And we're going to add a little message once you migrate over. When somebody logs into the current Community Link, we'll pop up a little message telling them, hey, to get the new experience, you need to get the Community Link Pro. I'll have a link there. So we'll make it really simple for them to download that new app as well. But just know that they will need to use that new Community Link Pro app. Okay. Oh yeah, last thing here, just going back to the phases and the timing. You can just email ticket@unify.net with the desired phase. So if you want to go early, if you want to go later, just let us know and we'll work with you on that. That's all I had for the portal, but I did want to share one more thing with you if you've got a couple more minutes before we go into questions. It is our new branding. You may have noticed we have a new logo. So we have a new logo. Our new website is coming out next week. We're really super excited about that. Been working on that for quite a bit. It just kind of showcases and highlights more of the things that we do. So once it's there, please check it out, have a look at it. The other piece is we do have new branding for UManage and Community Link. So these are the logos for UManage. The orange, UManage by Unify, and Community Link is Community Link by Unify. It'll be the yellow. So purple and yellow, purple and orange. And if you look closely, these little four things are actually houses. So that's our little link back to HOAs. So look forward to those new logos heading out there. Okay, that's all I had for this. I'd like to just open it up for questions if anybody has any questions. And Leanne, if you could tell me how to see questions. There we go, 5 questions. First one. If an owner updates their profile in the portal, will it update on UManage as well? Yes, it will. They're now intertwined. So yeah, you update it either way, it'll be reflected on either system. So yes. Next question. Golly, where's the question on this thing? Sorry. I haven't done many.
Hi, Steve.
One of the questions was, do owners have to create a new login?
No, they do not have to create a new login. All their same logins will work. And same thing with if they have multiple properties, all that will automatically come over. Same thing with combined billing. If they're set up for combined billing, all that should come over. So all that should come over. It should be near seamless for the homeowners.
Hi, Steve. This is Nishu. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you for the demo. Awesome. Love the changes. As you know, right, there are a few items that had to be customized, right, for the association, and because of them not using some of the functionality, right? So to accommodate those, we had to work through your development team. So my question is, as we migrate to this new skin, right, and the entire new portal, would we need to still go through the development, or will there be more flexibility for us to implement those working with our implementation lead?
Yeah, good question. So all that should be able to be done within uManage now. So all that permissioning, turning on, turning off features, capabilities, renaming them, saying who can add what content, view what content, all that should be done using the permissioning piece that I should do.
Okay, awesome. I have a few other small ones. I can take those to Mark, but this was the biggest one for us, as you can imagine. So,
all right, thanks.
Thank you.
Another question, with the update of uManage tonight at 6 p.m., will we still be able to use it during the upgrade? Our recreation centers use it until 9 p.m. for check-ins.
We're gonna bring down uManage after 9 p.m. Pacific time. So it's probably around 10 Pacific is when we bring it down. When we say bring it down, we're gonna bring down both uManage and the portal, since there are still some changes that are going to go in for the portal. So yes, both of those will be unavailable tonight. We're working to get them up as soon as we can. What we will show is if somebody tries to go to the portal while it's down, they're going to get a pretty message that says the portal is down for maintenance, please check back later, as opposed to just like a 403 or whatever that number is, page not found message.
All right, another question. Should we change the portal URL in our communications to owners?
So once we migrate you to the new portal, you'll be able to access it from either .net or .com. So it's kind of up to you. So like right now, we're going to have a mix. So we're going to have, like in phase one, we're going to have a couple people on the new portal. So we need to support .net for the old and .com for the new. Same thing on phase two. We still have some on .net for the old and .com for the new. Once phase three is done, both .net and .com will be the same. So at that point, they will both be the same. So you don't have to, but you can. Like if you like the .com better, you can change it to .com.
All right. When does this officially roll out for everyone?
So we're doing that phased rollout for people. So we're giving you some choice as to whether you want to go early or late. We're starting our initial testing with those handful of firms next week. So next Friday, the 22nd, is when all of the portal changes are going to go in. And then obviously it's a really big change that we did. So there are going to be some tweaks that we're going to need to do. So that's what we're going to be spending our time on that following week. And depending how that goes, we'll be opening up for phase two soon after that.
All right. On the documents page, the left-hand side still displays the current navigation panel. It feels unnecessary. Additionally, the icons appear in clear. Could they be adjusted to look sharper?
So what you mean by that is, so the unclear icons might just be the webinar. When I look at it on my screen, I see Go to Webinar over here. It does look kind of fuzzy. On my screen here, they do look clear. Like if this is showing fuzzy for you, then it will be clear when you're looking at it here. Yeah. Same thing for the documents. This is showing real sharp for me on my screen. It's probably just fuzzy as a go-to meeting.
All righty. Okay. So next question, does the community manager receive notification when a reservation is made through the portal?
They can, all based on the settings now. So just like all notifications in uManage, you have the little check boxes. You can set it up to be the manager would get notification. Absolutely. And that's one of the big changes we did with the reservations piece, is to allow the manager to access it from uManage so they don't have to go into the portal. They can do all their work most of their work within uManage. One of the pieces that I didn't say that we are like upcoming items. Let me take a real quick opportunity to say that is I kind of touched on how we're integrating UManage in the portal. We're doing that more. So we're going to continue to do it. So what I mean by that is right now the folders and the documents, they're not accessible directly from the association page. So we are working to merge that in, and we have some good ideas as to how to make that happen. So what that means is you'll be able to easier manage the content, the documents that you want to show on the portal, as opposed to having to go to the portal to put those documents. You'll be able to add a document to a community portal folder tree within UManage, and that'll show on the portal. So now you have to go out to the portal to do it. So that's something that's coming as well. And part of like our effort to rewrite it is we're able to make all of these changes now, since they are kind of merging into one. Same thing with content. Right now I showed you adding the announcement from here, but we're working on the ability to add announcements from UManage. So from a UManage, ultimately you'll be able to add all of these items from UManage and say, show them on the portal without having to go to the portal. So.
All right. If we have pages in the public site sections that are used to pull data, will those still be available?
They should. You mean like the public facing website? Yes, those should come across as well.
Okay. All right. I may have missed this, but will documents added to the portal now show in UManage? Also, will we be able to give the board member the ability to do e-blasts?
The first part of the question, not yet, but it will be once we merge the documents together. So a document that's added to the portal, it's only visible on the portal right now. But again, once we merge them together, you'll be able to see them in both spots. You'll be able to, in UManage, be able to see the portal folder structure. Okay, so that's that one. And then the ability to add board members to add eBlast, yes, you will be able to do that with the new permissioning scheme. And you can either have it such that all board members can do it, or you can say only 3 people can do it, Bob, Jenny, and Tom. So a lot of granularity there.
Okay. We do have someone said it looks amazing, so thank you very much for that. Next up, do the calendar and reservation speak to each other? If there is a reservation made, will it automatically also be added to the calendar once approved?
So this calendar is different. It's still different from the reservation calendar. This is showing activities and events that are going on, whereas the reservation calendar is showing what's being reserved. On the reservation calendar, you are able to see availability across it. So again, when you're out here and you want to reserve a clubhouse, these are the items that you want to reserve. Let's say you want to reserve 2 of them. You can 2 of the 5. You can select whichever ones are there, and you'll see all availability here on the calendar. So you can see with the different colors, you'll be able to see, find a time slot where that all 2 of your items are available. So, but to answer your question, no. So this reservation calendar, it's separate from the event calendar. So this is, but the reservation calendar will be accessible from UManage.
All right. If we have new accounts coming online this month and next, do they roll out in the updated version or not until the firm rollout?
So new associations coming in and new homeowners coming in?
Yes.
Yeah, so you're going to continue to do them like you're doing them today. So they'll have access to the old portal, just like you are. And then once you're migrated over, then there'll be all that data, all the new people will be automatically migrated to the new portal, just like existing owners will be. Yeah, so until you're migrated to the new portal, nothing is going to change in terms of how you interact with the portals.
Can homeowners still pay online if they have a zero balance?
Yes, they can. Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, so none of that changed. So the even if I pay, that is all the same. So they click it, it still opens up in the portal, real easy. Yeah, so no changes there.
All right, and we do have a couple people who raised their hands. If you want to go ahead and unmute your microphone, if you have a question you need to ask.
Yeah, hi, Nishu again here. Hi, Leanne. Hi, Steve.
Hi.
Long time I haven't talked to you. So the summary of changes, right? Will there be some kind of a summary sent out of, here are the key changes to expect so that we can then take a version of that and use it to communicate with the owners and residents?
Yes, absolutely. We're calling them one pagers. It'll probably be longer than one page. Yeah, we're working on one for owners and board members, and then a separate one for your internal people.
Nice, thank you.
Yeah.
All righty. Is there another question out there? Go ahead and unmute and you can go ahead and speak.
Hey,
Okay.
Steve, Shane, I was curious about the calendar and task integration between you managers and the portal. Is that something you're going to be working on this year anytime?
Task integration between you manager and the portal?
Well, right now, only the manager can create a task from you manage and send it to the board portal. But it would be nice for boards and committees to be able to create their own task in the portal and show up on both sides.
I think we might already have that, actually. Where would that be? Under association, sorry. I think there's a flag underneath tasks that allows, let's go to random, oh, picked the wrong one. Let me do this one. Under tasks. Yeah, allow board to create and manage tasks. I think this little flag down there should do what you, sorry, it keeps jumping. That little flag right there, allow board to create and manage tasks.
That's perfect. Thanks.
Yep.
And what about the calendar integration between the two where we can manage calendars directly from UManage side instead of logging into the portal? That's
coming. Yeah, so that's part of, so not only calendars, but all of the content on the left side. So the announcements, the events, documents, everything. Everything on the left, we want to ultimately have in UManage as well. So you're doing all of your work in UManage and you're not having to flip back and forth. So yeah, that's coming. And that's what we're going to start to work on after the migrations. So like our team, we're looking at this is phase one. Our core portal is out there. And it looks a lot nicer than the current portal, but we're going to keep working on it. And like all the effort that we put in over the last 7-8 months is putting us in a position that we can do all those new things now. Because now we've got one system as opposed to like two disparate systems. So.
That's great. Thank you. And it does look great. So looking forward to it.
All right.
All right, so another written question. When uploading monthly financials to Community Link, will managers still have a complete list of the associations in their portal to quickly upload, or will they need to access the association individually through UManage?
Read that one again, a little slower.
Sure. When uploading monthly financials to the Community Link, will UManagers still have a complete list of the associations in their portal to quickly upload, or will they need to access the association individually through UManage?
Yeah, so access now and permissions now to the manager's portfolio, it's going to be driven by their U-Manage permissions. So if you have access to those 15 associations in U-Manage, you'll have access to those same 15 associations in the portal, and you'll have the little drop down. So you'll have this drop down right there that would have all 15 of your associations listed. So yes, you'll still have that same ability.
We did have a question. Will there be a new U-Manage app?
Yes, there actually is a new U-Manage app. It's called U-Manage Pro. So U-Manage Pro is currently available in the App Store, sorry, and the Play Store. So you can grab those today, and we encourage you to use those. The old U-Manage app is still out there as well on both the Play Store and the App Store. The idea is we want you guys to really test it hard in the field. We've done a lot of testing, but you guys are way better at finding issues than we are. So if there is anything that's like a showstopper, then you can always go back to the old app and continue your inspection. Whereas ultimately the goal is to get rid of the old app and have just one app. And ultimately they're both going to be called U-Manage Pro. So short answer, yes, you can get it now in the App Store and Play Store under U-Manage Pro.
All right. This is a question about tenants. She would like to know how to add a tenant so they have access to the portal.
Yeah, so you would add a tenant just like you do today under the contacts. And then the difference is going to be in the new portal, you're going to go out to the permissions here, and you're going to say tenant, wherever the tenant is in here, tenant. Now this is going to determine what the tenant can and can't do. So you'd be able to use these boxes to check and uncheck. And same thing at the firm level. Using the permissions, you'll be able to set by role what people can do.
All right, great, thanks. All right, so can we see the ARC for the board members?
Yes, you can. Before that, though, let me show you the ARC for homeowners, because that changed slightly for the better. So if we go into ARC plans, I'm a homeowner now submitting an ARC plan. So now what we've added is this little progress bar up at the top. So it kind of walks them through the steps they need to do to submit that ARC plan. So what are you going to do? I'm going to add a new roof, whatever you're going to do. You select the same type that it is. Or that's probably a bad example. I'm going to add bushes, your front yard. Then they come up in here next. Add 3 bushes. Okay. And now it should walk them through to the next step. It's optional, so I can just click on next. Walks them to the next step, documents. So now it's telling us that based on that type of plan that I selected, and this is current functionality. Current functionality works similarly. It's easier for them to see. So it's telling them that we need this checklist and we need this thing called a doc. So we need both of those, and we haven't given them yet. So once they add those files, this is going to show as green. That'll show as green. Then they'll be able to review and submit. But right now I can't submit it because we still need additional documents. So in today's world, all of that information is on a single page. So now we're just kind of logically walking them through. Okay. So hopefully it'll make it easier for your boards to understand the process, cut down on questions coming into your support team. So now let's look at the ARC manager. So I look at this one. So it's going to look, I have any ARCs to review. Let's see if I have any open ARCs. Here we go. Looks kind of like this. Click on window replacement. It's going to look very similar. So I've got up top is the submission, what the person submitted. And down below, we still have all these similar tabs. Still have a recommendation. So it's the same data that we're capturing. The process works the same. You can still put your recommendation in. that chairperson gets to select that final resolution, whatever that is. Once they save it, it'll kick off the process to complete it and generate any letters. So, similar process. It should look pretty familiar to them. I think on the old skin, like this section here was kind of up in the top right. We just kind of said, here's what's submitted. Down here, the committee, this is everything committee related right here.
All right. We had someone ask that as for phase 3 go live firms, what kind of date range are they looking at for that? Because they would like to make certain that their owners are notified.
Yeah, so it's going to be after the 22nd, figure a week or two. So that would put us into the 5th of June, or yeah, 5th of June. And then maybe a week after that for the phase 2 folks, maybe a week after that for the phase 3. So probably 19th would be the earliest, I think, for the phase 3 folks. So that should give about a month to communicate to people. Also time to update any internal documentation you may have, make any changes that I kind of discussed, and all that. And that's just rough. It could vary based on how many changes we need to do after we initially release it. So we're pretty confident that it works really well, but there's always those edge cases and things we haven't thought about, or that are the ones that get you. So, but our team we're ready. Like our team is ready to jump on them as soon as it happens, and we're able to update the community link separate from UManage. So if we do need to make a change to this page, we don't need to wait for a release. We can just do it and just make it happen.
All right. We are at 4:02, Steve, and we still got quite a few questions. You want to keep going?
Sure, I'm game. Yeah.
All right.
If you guys want to stay on, I'm happy to stay on and answer questions.
All right. With the new update, I will be able to manage reservations through UManage now along with the portal? Question mark.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. How about future calendar and tasks integration between UManage and the portal? For example, a board member being able to create a task from the portal.
Yeah, so we talked about that one earlier. So that's a setting within UManage on the association page on the task tab. You can enable that to allow board members to add tasks.
All right. Will the homeowner receive an email when their event is approved on the reservation calendar?
Yes, we will.
Will violations still be processed the same way?
Yes, no changes to the violation processing. All that happens in UManage. What's slightly different is just the page looks different. So they're going to access, the homeowner accesses it from here on their violation page. So it should look very similar to what they have today. They have an image. They can hit the discuss to converse back and forth with management. But other than that, it just looks more modern. Yeah, filters are different. The discussion is also different. Yeah, so we made all the all the discussions look more like texting, like Apple Messenger. So that's what we added for the discussions across the board. So whether there are discussions here or whether they're internal discussions in UManage, it'll all have this type of an interface people are more familiar with.
Here's another one. When we respond to a resident request, they are not able to read our response. Why is this, please?
Not able to read their response. They should be able to. What I suspect is, and we're making it, what they should be able to do is on the resident request page, is click this view right here. And this would show them your response. Your response would be right here. So all that back and forth is all going to be captured in the discussion. So they should be able to see all that communication right here. I suspect maybe they don't know about that view that in the old portal, current portal. Let's see what it looks like. I forget if it says view, if it says discuss, or what it says. So resident requests. Yeah, it says discuss right here. So they should be able to click on this in today's world to still see all that. So a little bit slower on QA. So they should be able to look at it that way. Another change we're doing related to resident requests, we're not showing it here, it's over here. If I go back to list, is we're adding another couple columns, because what's not showing right now is who last responded. So we don't know if we're waiting for the manager to respond, or if the manager has responded and waiting for the owner to respond back, or what. So we're adding more information here, some little chips that say, this is the status of the communication back and forth. So they know when they come here that the managers responded, and they know that they should go look at it. Now there's nothing that tells them that they should go look at it because there's a new reply for them. So that'll be out there by this Friday, those extra capabilities.
Will resident requests now say submit instead of save when those are created by homeowners?
Don't know. Let's try one. We'll see what it does. I have resident request here. There we go. Let's add one. Account question. So this one has a bunch of custom forms on it. And it's going to be save. It says save. Now we did add, I don't know if we want to go there, but we kind of can. We did add a lot of capability for resident requests into this new release that's coming out. I know it's not related to the skin, but it is something that I think you guys are going to like. So within resident requests, what we added is every request that comes in, we're now running it through an AI agent to come up with a suggested response. And I apologize, this is all test data, but I can show you what the page looks like. So the request comes in, the AI is going to look at it. It's going to try to figure out what the owner's asking. It's going to come up, formulate a response based on past history. And it's going to give that suggestion here. If the rep likes it, they can use it, click apply, and send it off. If they don't like it, they can customize it and configure it. And then the AI is going to learn from that. It's going to say, hey, the response that the AI gave was heavily modified by the rep, so we need to change the initial response. Or, hey, the instruction was used as is, which means the AI had a pretty good answer. So it's going to learn from the responses, and you can also give it some feedback from the AI. So it gets feedback from what you change. It also gets feedback if you say, hey, something was incorrect, misread, whatever, or if you give it an instruction. So all these little touch points, the AI is going to learn, and it'll get better over time. So that's something that's coming, and hopefully it'll be helpful and useful for you. You can also set up certain categories to be auto-responded to. So if somebody's asking what's my balance or what's the collection policy, something that you can answer with high degree of confidence, and you want the AI to auto-respond, it can auto-respond back to them so that your person doesn't have to even come into this page and respond to it. Certain categories you would just mark as not, and certain categories you can't, like anything legal related, you can't auto-respond. We want to route that through manager and make sure that eyes are on it. So anyway, that's something that's coming. And since you mentioned resident requests, I wanted to just kind of bring that up here. Coming on tomorrow. Not coming in the future, coming tomorrow.
All right. You mentioned a payments feature for the reservations. Will this be available for other items such as resident request for an amenity key?
Resident requests for an amenity key. thinking. So we've got a couple of places tomorrow where we're able to take payments online. One is with our point of sale system. So we have a whole point of sale system now that's out there. So if any of your associations need that, know it's an integrated point of sale. They can buy things on with cash, card, or on account. So that's tomorrow. The other piece is with the ticketing app. So the point of sale, it's a true point of sale. So you're actually going up to a cashier and you're buying something, whether it's a can of Coke, whether it's a permit, whatever it is, you're interacting with a person. The ticketing app that we have also does have a shopping cart capability to it. Where the ticketing is, here we go. Has a shopping cart capability to it where you can set up things to sell. It's designed to sell tickets, like tickets to like an event, a party or something. But you can also sell things. You can sell passes or whatnot. So that's the other piece. The reason that, so this one is self-serve, meaning a person, an owner could put that purchase in themselves and pay for it themselves. Whereas the point of sale is you're interacting with a person. So it's not a computer thing. You're going to somebody and you're buying it. You're at a 7-Eleven, same kind of thing. You're at a 7-Eleven, you make the purchase. That's what point of sale is. So those are the two. The other way you can do that is just put that charge for that key fob or amenity on their ledger. They can pay for it that way using Unified Pay. So, but right now we haven't talked about adding it to resident requests. So if that's something we need to look at, we can look at it. But I'd like to understand more of what you're thinking and what your requirements are. So if you could just write something up of how you see it working, and then we'd be happy to take a look at it.
All right. Does the master login still function the same as it has to merge homeowner accounts if they own multiple properties?
It will, but it's no longer a master account. So we've gotten rid of that master because that master, so the way it worked is you have 3 properties, you've got 3 separate accounts, and you had this 4th thing called a master. So we've gotten rid of that joined all 3 of those together. We've gotten rid of that master thing, and all 3 of your accounts can be joined together without the master. So we're accomplishing the same functionality, but by getting rid of that master login. We call that persons. So you've got a contact as a person. So we've got a person that can access the portal. We're able to group multiple persons together. Kind of how we had, and we still do have, the associate master accounts. We will have associate portal persons. So we're able to associate these people together by same way as before, unit name, unit only, name only, and we're adding in the ability to also do it by email address. It'll join all of those people together. And if you access one of those properties, you can access all of them because you're all the same person. So yes, same functionality, just no longer a master. And that same thing applies to your backend staff. So your backend staff no longer need to have a separate master login to get to the portal. They're going to get to the portal using their UManage login or going to associations, clicking go to site on that association.
All right, we have someone who has a meeting next week and they wanted to present how to use the portal. Will there be something on the new portal that will be available that they can show?
Yes, so what we can do, since the migration process, it's a pretty involved process because we're copying all of your data. We're also copying all of your documents from different places, a lot of technical things going on in the background. So we can kick off that migration process. It takes between 25 to 45 minutes per association to do. So if you needed it, we can copy your data that's on QA and activate your site on QA using QA test data, and you can show your folks it that way. So that's how one way you can do it, doing a presentation this way. You can actually walk through kind of what I just did. You'd be in the sandbox. You'd be logging in as you, just through your normal UManage login. So that, and also we're going to come up with a couple of those quote one-pagers. Like I said, will be multiple pages, but just the one-pagers, high-level sheet of here's what's new with from an owner perspective and from a back-end user perspective. So if you need that, just send a message in the ticketing, and then we'll coordinate getting that data migrated over on QA.
All right, let's see. Will the percentage for payment fees and for debit and credit card and bank account information remain the same?
Yeah, no changes there. It's all the same.
All right, great. So a question about persons. Will the associate portal persons have to be reset if the master accounts are already set up?
No, we're going to migrate those master accounts, all the relationships, and we're going to build the portal persons based on that. So if a homeowner logged in on the old portal and they could see 4 properties, they'll be the same thing on the new portal, see the same 4 properties. The only difference is that we don't need master logins anymore for, and we're not converting master logins for firm users, your managers. So.
All right. When do you anticipate payments can be made online for reservations? And can we use this feature if we don't use the Unified Pay feature? Owners use bank webpage to pay since it's free.
Good question. So when are we going to build payments? The answer is as soon as we can. So that's going to happen in our next release. So that's one of our one of our rocks. You guys are familiar with the term rock. It's the big thing that you got to do. So that's one of our current rocks for this upcoming next release after tomorrow. In terms of payments, how that's going to work, no, you don't have to use eUnified Pay, but yes, you will have to use Payably. So what that means is you will need to have a merchant account. So you'll set up a merchant account at Payably. The pricing for that, it's different than for Unified Pay since you're the merchant. It'll be, I think it's $2 or $2, 2.95% for cards plus 30 cents a transaction. So that's like the standard merchant pricing. And then the difference is you get paid on the net of it, just like a regular merchant. So if an owner puts in a $100 payment, you're going to get $97 and some change back. So yes, so you still need to use Payably because they would be the merchant account. And that same concept is true for point of sale and also for the ticketing app. The association would be the merchant in that case. Just like as if you're accepting payments with Square. It works the exact same way, just it's through Payably.
This is another question on portal folders linked to the association document category. Will that data transfer over? Currently, if I uploaded a document through the association documents, I cannot edit them in portal. So I guess the question is the data still going to be available if they've already done it? And will they be able to make edits on both sides, portal and UManage?
Part A of that question is yes, all that data should transfer over. So your folder structure in the new portal should look exactly like it does in the current portal. Part B to that question is I'm not sure. Yeah, so I'll need to check on that one. That's a good question. Part C to that question is right now, you mentioned the portal folder location. So mapping to document categories. That's the piece that with this next release, that's another one of our rocks, merging documents together, we're going to be getting rid of that portal folder location That's just a hard concept to map. And we're going to be putting, like I mentioned before, a folder tree in UManage. So right now, UManage does not have a folder tree. It just has document categories, whereas the portal does have a tree. So now we're going to have a tree in both places, and that should solve it. So you'll have a tree for your internal documents that you can see and manage, and a tree for your portal documents that you can see and manage. And then from the UManage side, wherever folder you put that in, that's where it will be visible. But in terms of editing a portal, an association document on the portal, I'm not sure, and we'll check into that one for you. Get back to you. Writing that one down.
All right, so is there anyone else who would like to chime in with a question? Just unmute yourself and you can ask.
All right, well, I don't see anybody else. Thank you, everybody, for listening to me pontificate for an hour and 20 minutes. I do appreciate your time, appreciate the time you spent listening and looking at the portal. I really hope it's going to really help you guys communicate with your board members. Keep the comments coming, keep the feedback coming. We really do listen to it. As I said before, it was feedback from you guys is what drove us to revamp the portal. So we really do listen to everything that you guys say. I'm not saying we're going to do everything that you ask, but we do listen to it and consider it. So I appreciate that. All righty. Well, thanks, everybody. I will let me know if you guys have any questions. Other than that, we're going to sign off.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.